time kayo mag-aral. And then mamayang hapon, the thing is that kailangan talaga meron na tayong activity sa disaster RLE. So meron akong ibibigay sa inyong activity and you will have to do that, although we have to discuss muna and then activity na, ha. So pero tayo natin ma-finish ito ngayon. We are now on the disaster emergency and preparedness. Pero natapos ba natin yung 2, guys? Naalala nyo ba? Sorry kasi lipad talaga utak ko. Sa totoo lang. Pasensya na. Saan ba yung 2? Review muna tayo. Na-discuss na natin ito. Wait, 2. Ay, ano ba? Ano ito? Natapos ba natin yung week 1 and 2, guys? Last week?
Yes po.
Daryl, naalala mo? Jero, natapos. So, 3 na tayo. Pero itong slide natin is 3 and 4. Okay, sige. So, start na tayo. Ay, naku, ano ba? Teka lang. Week 3. Okay. So, week 3 and 4 na tayo. And then, this time, we will be discussing about preparedness. Okay? So, alam na natin, nag-risk assessment kayo. Alam nyo na ngayon kung paano mag-assess ng risk. So, ibig sabihin, na-identify nyo na kung paano i-foresee kung, ito, possible danger to. So, ito ang dapat gating gawin. Okay? Yun yung doon sa disaster risk assessment. Okay? Sa mitigation phase yun. Tapos ngayon, sa preparedness na tayo. Okay? Now, dito sa preparedness, ibig sabihin nun, identified na ang possible risk. That's why we have to take action. So in here, we are going to discuss about concepts and significance of disaster preparedness. Then, ano ba ang mga different role ng different organizations? Ano ang role ng hospital? Lalo na kapag ang dami talagang bumaksa sa kanila sa ER tapos iilan lang ang nurses tsaka doktor. And disaster preparedness measures, ano ang mga policy programs. Uy, bakit putol ito? Nasaan na yung continuation nito? Wait. Ba yan? Ito yata yun. Ala. Wait lang guys, hanapin ko lang. Pero ito yung topic natin. Wait lang, hanapin ko yung kabuuan nito. Three. Ba yan? Nawawala ang mga slides ko. Okay. Nasa form na pala siya. Okay, sige. Ano ba 'tong mix-mix na yan? So, may week 3 tayo. Okay, sa week 3 muna tayo, ha? Ba yan? Sorry guys, lasog-lasog yung ano ko. Kasi meron mga klase na naghahabol ako, kaya meron silang iba-ibang slide pero parehas ang topic. So ito yung week 3 natin. Okay? So this time, after this, yun ng preparation yung kanina, ha? Okay, so dito sa disaster mitigation phase and preparedness, now we will be going to discuss about risk management. And ano ba yung definition ng risk management? Assessment, analysis, reduction, and disaster preparedness. So yung assignment na ginawa nyo ay dito yon. So ngayon, pag nagawa nyo yung assignment nyo, malalaman niya ngayon, ganito pala, 'di ba? Inuna ko yung assignment nyo bago itong pinaka-lecture natin so that you will know kung saan talaga dapat ilagay yung proper na mga action or ano ba ang mga nandyan na in place na policy and things like that. Okay? And then after that, once identify ano ang gagawin. Okay? So here, you will be able to gain understanding. Sino yung pumasok?
Ma'am, sorry po, excuse lang po, hindi po kasi kita yung naka-present ma'am sa screen po.
Ay, hindi ba? Wait
Ano
lang, wait
lang
lang.
po siya ma'am, blank lang po siya. Thank you po.
Ay, ganun. Paano nangyari? Pero dito sa akin nakikita. Wait lang ha. Stop ko ulit.
Okay na po
Okay
ma'am,
na? Kita
visible.
nyo na?
Apa. Thank you po.
Okay. Okay, Dukes. Okay, so in this topic, you will gain understanding about the mitigation phase, kung ano ba yung risk assessment, describe the process of assessment, identify kung ano ba yung mga strategies para ma-decrease ang risk. Okay? Ano yung mga factors na masabi natin pwede ma-influence sa disaster preparedness, pwedeng makatulong or pwedeng maghinder sa mga disaster preparedness, and gain understanding kung paano ba nagre-respond ang government when it comes to disaster. Again, review natin yung disaster continuum natin. Dito tayo sa mitigation and preparedness phase. And then after that, we will move sa una mitigate muna kung saan yung assessment, and then preparedness na tayo, di ba? And then move na tayo dito sa impact kung saan yung nangyari ang assessment. By midterm, ito na yun dito, midterm, and then finals, kasama na si up to the rehabilitation. Okay, itong disaster strikes due to midterm period yan. And then, itong rehabilitation, finals period yan. Okay? So, sa mitigation, this is to prevent the impact of disasters. Diba? Pag alam na natin kung ano yung foreseeable event, so alam na natin ang action. Naku, delikado dyan ang mga ganitong tao. So, ngayon pa lang, gumawa na tayo ng plano para paano hindi sila maging apektado. Uy, naku, delikado dyan ang mga matatanda, yung mga ganun. So, those are the vulnerable people. Vulnerable people yung bangkayang hindi nila kaya ang impact ng disaster. Pwedeng sila ang magkakaroon ng mga grabing epekto ng disaster. Okay? And then, it occurs before the disaster event takes place. Kaya nga mitigation, ibig pampabawas ng impact Okay? It employs different course of action to prevent future disaster emergencies, and in this phase also, actions are taken to reduce vulnerability. Yun yung mga vulnerable people, yung mga posibleng malaki ang epekto sa kanila. Okay? Sino-sino yung mga vulnerable people? Persons with disability, very old individual, pregnant women, very young children, yan, mga vulnerable people, mga yan. And people with mental disorders. Okay? So we wanted to prevent or to reduce the impact of the disaster event to this group of people. Okay, kaya meron tayong mitigation phase kung saan nagplaplano tayo kung paano sila tulungan. Okay. Now, when we say disaster risk, it is the potential loss of injury. It can even cause damage to the property and to the people, to the one exposed. Okay. Depende kung anong klaseng disaster yan. Okay. Depende sa, like for example, ano bang klaseng disaster? Typhoon ba yan? Pwede ba yan, gera ba yan? Kagaya yung nangyari sa Marawi. Ano pa ba? Pwede yung riot, yung ano, pero wala tayo dito sa atin, wala tayong civil disobedience, okay? At may rally naman tayo dito, pero yung hanggang dyan lang sa daan. Pero ang rally sa mga ibang bansa, grabe, pati mga building nasisira talaga. Okay, so apektado ang mga mamamayan. So, civil disobedience yon. Okay? Ibig sabihin ng civil disobedience, hindi na nakokontrol ng mga authority. Sino mga authority? Mga pulis. Diba? Okay. So the disaster risk, in a sense, defined through the combination of these terms. Ano yung terms? Hazard, exposure, and vulnerability. Okay? So, masabi natin, ay, risk talaga. Now, when we say management, okay, risk management, this implies the different kind of strategies na magagamit natin to prevent and mitigate the risk. Okay? So, dito sa risk management, meron tayong monitoring, meron tayo, ito na yung sinasabi natin na risk assessment, and then sa after ng risk assessment, gawa natin ng action plan, after ng action plan, gawa natin ng drill, and then cycle lang yan, okay, para at least it will be a seamless part of the everyday situation. Kung sakali man dadating ang disaster, alam na ng mga tao kung ano ang gagawin nila. Okay? So this kaya sinabi natin management kasi ang goal talaga ng Pilipinas is to achieve resilience sa mga tao. So through this, and not even in the Philippines only, but also in other parts of the world, we are trying to strengthen resistance and to reduce the disaster losses. Losses, especially yung life ng mga tao. Property, walang problema kasi kung mawala naman yan, mababalik naman din yan kung in due time. Pero ang buhay ng tao, hindi talaga. Importante talaga yon. So, kaya marami tayong mga disaster program ng NDRRMC, and it is also expanded through the schools. Like, for example, dito sa atin, meron tayong disaster nursing. Sa mga ibang colleges, meron tayo yung NSTP nyo, di ba, kung saan kayo nagte-train, mga ganon-ganon. So, part din yun. Pero the real concept, okay, the whole concept about disaster management, dito lang yan sa atin, sa nursing, okay? Bakit sa nursing lang? Kasi tayo ewan ko lang ha, kasi in other parts of the world, like for example, in the United States, they prioritize nurses because they are the very ones that knows what is happening in the patient's body when it comes to casualty, and they are the ones helping the doctor in responding to this, and they are also very much part of the FEMA. Okay, ano yung FEMA? Federal Emergency Management Agency, parang NDRRMC sa atin. Okay? So dito naman sa atin, ang halos talaga ng mga rescuer natin puro lalaki. Okay? And they are part sa mga military things. So, this military personnel also, they are trained sila, may training talaga sila kung paano mag-rescue, paano mag-respond. So ang sa atin is, pwede tayo sa management, okay? Pwede tayo sa hospitals, okay? Kaya kayo, kapag kayo ay magiging chief nurse, dapat alam nyo kung ano ang mga action na gagawin. Not even chief nurse, kahit supervisor ka lang o head nurse ka lang, alam mo dapat ang papel mo as in disaster response in a hospital. Okay? So the disaster risk management is categorized into prospective disaster risk management and corrective disaster risk management. Kapag si prospective, ang sabi, it seeks to avoid the development of new or increased disaster risk. Prospective, ibig sabihin advance mag-isip, advance na tinitignan, okay? So, ito pala ang posibleng mangyari, ito ang gagawin natin, yung ganon. Now, corrective disaster risk management is to remove or reduce the disaster risk na nandyan na, which need to be managed and reduced by now. Okay? So, paano yun? Like, for example, in an actual situation, sa hospital, ilagay natin sa hospital. Masasabi natin ang hospital will be in disaster if, for example, may surge of patients that comes into the ER and kunti lang talaga ang mga nurses doon. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, yung demand is sobrang dami, ang supply is kunti. Imbalance talaga yon. So, ano ang pwede gagawin ni hospital? Plan ba sila kung paano gagawin ito? Okay? So, yan ay malalaman nyo as we go along. Okay? Kasi dadating tayo dyan sa mga sa mga response ng mga hospital when it comes to patient surge. Okay? Surge, S-U-R-G-E. And then we also have compensatory disaster risk management. These are all the activities that strengthen the resilience of the individual in the society. Okay? So ito yung mga drill, mga what do you call this? Mga health teachings, mga lecture na binibigay. Okay? So yan. And community-based disaster risk management. Okay? Now dito is umabot sila hanggang community, hanggang barangay. This is to spread the information about disaster. Kaya sa mga barangay, meron din yung mga barangay tanod, nag-ano din sila yan, nagte-training o paano mag-rescue and things like that. And then, I'm not so sure if the barangays are disseminating information about how to respond to a disaster. But, napansin ko lang dito sa atin, it is being managed by the media. Yung media yung nagsasabi, kapag ganito ang mga dapat gawin. Tapos yung meron din silang advertisement about fire prevention, ano ang dapat gawin, may mga steps na gagawin, ina-advertise sa TV. I'm not so sure lang ngayon kasi by March, it will be Fire Prevention Month. So, lalabas na naman yan mga propaganda about preventing or fire prevention strategies. Okay, so disaster risk assessment. When we say assessment, parang lang din tayo, ini-scout natin ang area at ini-scout natin kung ano-ano ang pwedeng possible maging disaster. It could be based on, tawag nito yung hazard, okay, and any other natural kind of disasters. Okay? And then we also assess kung sino-sino ang effect, good morning po. Sige ma'am. So, tinitingnan din natin kung sino-sino ang mga vulnerable individual dyan sa community. Okay? And then what are the possible community property can be damaged and things like that when it comes to disaster. So, iyan ang risk assessment. When you talk about assessment, as I said, meron tayong hazards, exposure, and vulnerability in evaluation of the effectiveness kung meron ba tayong ginawa na para ma-mitigate yan. Okay. Now, meron akong mapa dito. Okay? Isa ito sa mga tawag dito, satellite map to determine or to assess kung ano ba talaga ang area which is vulnerable to be greatly affected by a disaster, particularly typhoon or may mga flood and things like that. So makikita natin dito, nilalagay nila, okay, like for example, the orange color is considered as flood hazards. Okay? Tapos meron sila dito mga sabi niya, ang dami namang mga bahay magiging apektado lalo na sa areang ito. So through the picture itself, makikita nila kung sino ang greatly affected when it comes to flood. Okay? So this is just an example. Okay, so it's not only the physical, the physical assessment na you go to the community and check. We also have the satellite assessment wherein we will know sino sa mga barangay, sino sa mga area ng community natin will be greatly affected when it comes to disaster. Like for example, disaster dito, sinasabi natin ay mga typhoon, ayun. So, ayan na sila. Or, masasabi natin tsunami. So, ayan. So, those areas that are near in the big body of water are vulnerable as well. Okay? Okay, so when we say disaster risk management, risk assessment, ito yung plano na ginawa ng UNISDAR or the United Nations Office of Disaster Risk Reduction. Meron silang guidelines kung paano natin gawin yung assessment and then to put it into action. Now here we have the ang tawag dito, nakalimutan ko, the Sendai framework. So these are the objectives of the Sendai framework. It's a worldwide kind of objectives about disaster so that ma-reduce ang mga, disaster impact. Okay? Now dito, ang objective nila is target to be achieved by 2030. So we're not so sure how much is being attained up to this time. We are already 2024, but as you can see, most of the natural disasters na unforeseeable at hindi natin ma-prevent, yun talaga ang pinaka delikado. Okay? Like for example, sa Japan, nagkaroon na naman ng malaking earthquake, di ba? So the objectives, take note of this guys kasi ito lumalabas din sa exam. Reduce global disaster mortality. Ibig sabihin as much as possible. Hindi naman natin ma-prevent ang disaster pero kailangan meron reduce mortality. Reduce the number of affected people globally. So sabi, when it comes to disaster or yung mga big typhoon and things like that or earthquake, kailangan i-foresee na natin yan so that less people will get affected. Okay? Reduce direct economic loss in the relation of GDP or the gross development product. Ito yung mga crops natin, yung mga pinoproduce ng lugar natin like bigas, gulay, yung mga ganun. So kailangan mag-reduce ang economic loss. The only thing is that and whenever there are some bagyo na dumadating sa atin, hindi maiwasan talaga kasi syempre talagang ini-script nila yung mga gulay sa garden kasi ang lakas ng hangin, ang lakas ng ulan, nagbabaha and things like that. As much as possible, meron timing ang mga farmers kung kailan magtanim, kung kailan mag-ani, kaya nare-reduce ang economic loss. Although in some instances talagang hindi maiwasan, okay? Na talagang madidelay ang pagtanim, kaya nadidelay ang pag-harvest, kaya minsan naabutan na talaga sa panahon ng mga bagyo. Okay? Next, reduce disaster damage to critical infrastructure and disruption of basic services. Now, to do this, nakita nyo naman ngayon ang policy ng building permit na kailangan ang building permit, meron kung ano ang mga materials na gagamitin, gaano kataas ang building na yan, ano ang mga yung mga foundation na ginagamit, lahat yan dapat nakasaad doon sa building permit na humihingi kayo kapag kayo ay nagpapatayo ng building. Okay? Kasi kung sakali man ay hindi standard yung ginamit at when it comes to strong earthquake, naging pulbo ang building, liable ang mga engineers at liable kung sino yung nagpatayo ng building na yan. Okay? So, ganun ang mga preventive measures natin when it comes to sa mga infrastructures. Lalo na sa mga hospital. Napaka-importante ang hospital. Hindi basta-basta lang yan. Kasi kailangan resilient lang. Kailangan matibay yan sa mga bagyo and things like that. Kasi alam natin na iyan ang puntahan ng mga tao. Okay? Next, increase the number of countries with national and local disaster risk reduction strategies. Like in our country, we already have disseminated this from the national down to the barangay level. Okay, so ibig sabihin lahat ng ugat-ugat from national, branch na yan, up to the barangay level, meron tayong risk reduction strategies. Okay. Next, we also have the next objective is substantially enhance international cooperation to developing countries. So tayo meron tayong connection sa Asian and sa international when it comes to disaster response. Okay? Kaya nakikita nyo kapag may bagyo talagang malaki, dumadating yung mga aid yung mga tulong from ibang bansa. Okay? Sometimes yung mga conventions na ginagawa, ini-invite tayo para umattend doon so that yung yung program natin, disaster reduction program is also updated. Okay? So responsibilidad yan ng mga higher people or mga may ranggo doon sa NDRRMC. Okay? Then the last objective is to increase the availability and access to multi-hazard early warning system. So dito sa atin meron na tayo, like for example, alam na natin kung kailan dadating ang malakas na bagyo. Okay? Na advance na ang pag-asa natin. Alam na nila, pero hindi ko lang alam kung may malakas na bagyo katong araw na to, pero hindi naman. Kaya minsan walang klase, pero wala namang ulan, wala namang malakas na bagyo, di ba? Sometimes the explanation there is, syempre, hindi natin alam yung direction. Although, meron silang satellite na alam ang direction ng hangin at ng ulan at ng malakas na hangin, pero sometimes nalilihis. Okay? Hindi nagta-touchdown sa atin. Kaya yon. Okay? Then we also have yung sa flood, meron tayong strategy on how to keep watch of the dam, yung dam natin sa Marikina, and then kung gaano nakataas ang tubig. So, pag umabot na sa ilang meters yon, be ready kasi kailangan talaga evacuate ang mga tao doon. Otherwise, kung mag-give way ang dam, patay tayo. Talagang flash flood yan. What do you mean by flash flood? It is a strong current of water that draws down into the community. So, pati yung mga kotse, mga hayop, sumasama, pati bahay, sumasama talaga. Okay? So, ayaw natin mangyari yan. So this is the Sendai framework objectives and hopefully it will be achieved by 2030. But the thing is, because of the climate change, alam niyo naman ang climate change, naiiba yung climate natin, naiiba yung mga kung malamig na talaga, kung maulan talaga na malakas, yung mga ganun bagay. So because of the climate change, medyo meron tayong kumbaga hindi gaano well-structured ang strategy natin to achieve ito. Pero hopefully, dahil kung meron man pagbabago sa climate change, meron din silang bagay ginagawa para ma-counteract yan. Okay? Kaya nga meron talagang masabi natin mga scientists, mga researcher on what to do when it comes to mitigation or mitigating the impact of the disaster. Okay? Now, structure and guidelines, ito yung step natin kung paano natin ginagawa ang risk assessment. Preparing and scoping. So, paano yung preparing and scoping? So, dapat meron tayong plano. Okay, sa Monday, ang area na i-assess natin ay ganito. Okay, so kapag ina-assess tayo, titignan natin ang ganito. So, nasa policy, nakasaad yan talaga lahat. Okay, this includes governance mechanism, developing policies, data analysis plans, capacities, and terms of reference. Okay? And then after that, kumpleto ka na dito, pwede ka na mag-scope. Ibig sabihin, pupunta ka na sa area. Okay? So during that time, mag-conduct ka na ng assessment and then do the risk analysis. Ano naman to? Marami tayong mga analysis methodologies para pwedeng masabi, okay, mas mas vulnerable ito, ay mas malaki ang epekto. Nakita niyo yung form na ginawa niyo, yung community assessment? Nakita niyo yon. Nakita niyo yon, may mga number, kung the higher the number is the high is the risk of the affected individual. Wait lang, may tao. Ano yun? May class.
Ay, may class. Sige po, mga
Bakit po?
lang po dun sa kay ko ka
Muhammad.
na wala po yung every talaga.
Sa lab?
Opo. Nag-chat po siya yun sa akin po.
Opo.
Yung ano po ay
Anatomy lab daw, ano?
Opo. Magana siya mag-enroll po.
Okay. Hindi pa naman dumadating.
Ay wala po.
Wala pa siya ngayon. Baka mamaya.
Sabihan ko siya, sinag-chat po siya sa akin. Late po siya nag-prelim pizza.
Okay. Pero ma'am, okay naman siya, Doc.
Okay naman po.
Okay.
Ano naman po, masa naman po siya.
Okay. So, ibig sabihin, ilalagay na lang sa
Ayusin ko na lang po.
Ames. Okay. Doc Pao.
6.95 po siya sa prelim niya.
Okay.
So, bali, mataas po yung parang 80 plus.
Okay,
So,
sige, Doc.
semester.
Okay. Sige, Doc. Iano ko to. Pag dumating siya. Ma'am, gagawa ka ng ka ng completion form. Ito, example ng completion form kasi mali ito. Tapos, i-fill up niyo to. Tapos, i-fill up niyo po ito dito and then sign your name and then put the grades. And then, pasan niyo lang sa nursing office para kami na po ang
Pati yung
record.
Okay.
Ay, hindi. Galing to sa register. Binalik kasi ito kasi hindi kasi dapat ganyan nilagay. Dapat yung percentage.
Yung opo. Hindi 1.25.
Kaya binalik dito.
Okay po.
Okay, sige, Doc.
Thank you po.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Sige lang po. Thanks. Okay, guys. Sana tayo. Okay, so we have to conduct the risk analysis. Nasa form na rin yan. Doon pa lang ma-analyze na natin kung ano ang pinaka-high risk. So, kung ano yung pinaka-high risk, yun ang gawa natin ng action. Okay? So, preparing an output of risk analysis for communication with stakeholders. So, like for example, yung form nyo na may scoring yun, di ba? Nakita nyo. So, ngayon, ang analysis nyo, ito ang mas vulnerable. So, ito ang pwede. So, ito yung magre-report. Kapag ikaw ang assign sa risk assessment, yun ang ire-report mo, yung mga ganyan. Okay? And then, using the NDRA result, Nursing Disaster Risk Assessment Result for Disaster Risk Management and Development Decision. So, through that result, malalaman natin ano ang desisyon natin gawin. Ito yung mga action na dapat natin gawin. Gawin ba natin yan o hindi? Kailan tayo mag-start? O yung mga ganon, okay? Because this one facilitates the process for evaluation and applying results in risk disaster management decision. And usually talaga, after mag-decide kung gagawin ba, i-assess pa yan. Yung bang gagawin natin, magkaka-yield kaya tayo ng long-term sustainability? Ano ibig sabihin ng long-term sustainability? Ibig sabihin, ang action na yan, na gagawin natin, panghabang ang matagalan ba talaga yan? Or pang ngayon lang, pang tapa lang, pang band-aid lang? Okay? So, ayan. Ito yung mga sa risk assessment. Okay. Now, ito is diagram lang kung paano natin gagawin yung risk assessment kasi ang sabi niya, it is an approach for assessing potential losses. So, malami talaga ang mga tawag dito factors that can affect the impact of disasters. One is exposure. Ano ibig sabihin ng exposure? How long have you been exposed to that? Yung vulnerability mo, ano ka ba? Very bata ka ba? Very matanda, buntis or whatever? At anong klaseng hazard ba yan kung saan ka na-expose? And this will tell us what is the percentage of impact of this disaster sa individual. Now, because of this, yung risk assessment result natin, meron ng mga answer or meron ng mga outcome, doon tayo mag-a-act. Ay naku, vulnerable ang mga buntis dito. So, ano ang dapat natin gawin? So, number 1, bigyan sila ng health teachings na kapag ganito, ay ganito, mga ganon, mga action. Number 2, i-connect sila sa DSWD or sa mga response agency ng government para sila ang i-prioritize. Yung mga ganong bagay. Okay? So, meron na tayong mga action na dapat gawin. Okay? So, this one also is the risk assessment process. Okay? So, dito, list the assets to protect, decide risk to study, and then, ano ba ang kailangan mo i-study? Hazard, potential impact, time window, and select the minimum quality criteria. So, ito yung mga content ng form. Nakita nyo naman ang form nyo, ba yung assessment nyo? So, ano ba ang mga kailangan natin identify doon? So, meron maraming mga variables nandun sa form. And then, identify kung ano ang risk na pwedeng mangyari na umapekto doon sa mga nabanggit. And then, ano ang analysis mo, anong evaluation mo, paano ang treatment. Ibig sabihin yung action na gagawin natin. Okay? So, dito, once na-identified na, ito yung process talaga. And then, once na-identified na, we are to do the risk management planning. So, ano yan? Ano yung mga planning, yun yung mga strategies na sinabi ko. Okay, so itong mga vulnerable people, mga buntis ay highly vulnerable sila kapag dumating ang ganito, ganon. So ito ang mga dapat natin gawin sa kanila. Yun. Okay? And then, implementing risk prevention and preparedness measures. So, dito naman, ilagay na natin kapag dumating yan, advance na coordinate with DSWD para ilikas sila. Or, bigyan natin sila ng health teachings para alam nila kung anong gagawin nila when it comes to warning pa lang. Yung mga ganong bagay. Okay? So, yung formula na ito is, akala nyo masalimuot, pero when we talk about step by step, ang dali-dali lang. Okay? Identify lang, and then analyze, evaluate, and then put into action. Ano yung put into action? Ibig sabihin, ano ang treatment mo? Ano ang dapat mong gawin? Okay? But don't forget, ang pinakauna is iplano mo muna. Okay? So, identified na ang risk. O iplano mo ngayon, anong gagawin natin para ma-mitigate yung risk. Okay? And then, dito sa atin, sa Philippines, meron tayong risk profile. So, ano ang risk profile ng Pilipinas? The Philippine Archipelago is high risk to hazards and disasters. High risk tayo, bakit? Because of geographical location. We are located within the typhoon belt and we have plus minus 22 typhoons per year. This is data since 1920. This is reported sa tawag nito, yung sa disaster program nila, whatever program, I forgot already. Okay? Our country is located within the earthquake belt with active faults and trenches. Marami tayong mga fault lines dito, 'di ba? Alam niyo yung fault lines, yung posibleng doon mismo magiging epicenter ng earthquake. Okay? And we are situated within the ring of 22 active volcanoes. So, napaka-high risk ang Pilipinas because maraming typhoon sa isang taon dumadaan dito. At the same time, paligid natin ang earthquake belt. Okay, yung mga earthquake belt na sinasabi. 22 typhoons, kaya nga yung pangalan ng mga typhoons ABCD. Okay? Hindi na umaabot sa hanggang 22 lang. Wala nang letter Z, letter X. Meron pa ba? Meron bang typhoon Cerex? Wala naman, 'di ba? Hanggang Y lang yata. Okay? Ay hindi. Wala yatang Y, hanggang T lang. Meron latang U. Meron bang undang? Meron ba yung dating undang? Anyway, yun. I see. Ayun nga. So, ibig sabihin, lumalampas pa tayo, di ba? Lumalampas tayo sa 22. Okay, so I would like to show you this kasi makikita nyo kung saan situated ang Pilipinas sa when it comes to mga typhoon, chuchu.
From above, the planet appears eerily.
Teka lang.
From above, the planet appears eerily still. But every mountain range and every chasm on its face is a scar, with many telling a story of when the earth crumbled to life. Earthquakes occur around the world. They've been recorded on all 7 continents, but most quakes take place in just 3 regions. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge, an underwater line that runs down the Atlantic Ocean, the Alpine Belt, which stretches from the Mediterranean to Southeast Asia, and the Circum-Pacific Belt, which traces along the edges of the Pacific Ocean and is where about 80% of all earthquakes occur. These areas experience the most earthquakes due to what lies beneath the surface.
Tignan niyo ang Pilipinas.
Earthquakes are the result of pressure, specifically pressure caused by extreme stress in the
Okay, wait
Earth's
lang.
crust.
What do you mean?
Hindi po siya nagpe-play.
Ay, gano'n. Sige. Wait. Eto. Okay
From
na?
above, the planet appears eerily still. But every mountain range
Okay na,
and
guys?
every chasm on its face is a scar, with men telling a story of when the earth crumbled to life. Earthquakes occur around the world. They've been recorded on all 7 continents, but most quakes take place in just 3 regions.
Tignan yung
The
Pilipinas.
Mid-Atlantic Ridge, an underwater line that runs down the Atlantic Ocean, the Alpine Belt, which stretches from the Mediterranean to Southeast Asia, and the Circum-Pacific Belt, which traces along the edges of the Pacific Ocean and is where
Okay.
about
Earthquake
80% of
belt
all
natin.
earthquakes occur. These areas experience the most earthquakes due to what lies beneath the surface. Earthquakes are the result of pressure, specifically pressure caused by extreme stress in the Earth's crust. That stress can be caused by volcanic activity or even man-made activities in certain areas. However, most earthquake-inducing stress is caused by the movement of tectonic plates. Tectonic plates are constantly moving, either against, away, along, or underneath each other. But sometimes their edges may catch and stick. The plates, however, continue to move, or at least attempt to. Energy from this attempted movement builds around the edge's sticking point, creating immense pressure until the edges are forced to let go and the plates slip. This causes a sudden and powerful release of energy, so powerful that it breaks the Earth's crust. This fracturing emits shock waves through the ground and causes intense vibrations, or quakes. In fact, the world's most earthquake-prone regions are where the most geologically active plates meet. Earthquakes, or any seismic activity, are recorded by seismographs. When the ground shakes, seismographs oscillate, drawing a jagged line to reflect this movement. The more extreme the earthquake, the greater the height of the jagged line. These recorded motions are then used to measure the earthquake's strength, or magnitude. While several scales of magnitude exist, the one seismologists prefer is the moment magnitude scale. It has no upper limit, and it measures earthquakes logarithmically. This means that each magnitude on its scale is 10 times greater than the one before it. Unlike the now rarely used Richter scale, the moment magnitude scale can be applied globally and can measure quakes of the highest magnitudes. The largest recorded earthquake occurred near Valdivia, Chile in 1960. Nestled within the Circum-Pacific Belt, the Valdivia earthquake was the most powerful in a series of quakes that struck the region, measuring at a magnitude of about 9.5. In addition to causing devastating tremors on land, the earthquake also generated a deadly tsunami reaching up to 80 feet high. The tsunami raced across the Pacific Ocean, hitting faraway countries like the Philippines and Japan. In fact, data from seismographs show that the shock waves emitted by the Valdivia earthquake continued to shake the entire planet for days. Some earthquake-prone areas have adapted various ways to protect their communities. Buildings and bridges are designed to sway rather than break when an earthquake occurs. The public is educated on how to protect themselves during a seismic event, and government officials enact drills to ensure the protection of their people. Earthquakes can leave behind incredible devastation. But these same forces have also created magnificent features, with each adding character to a planet so unique.
Itanong mo si Mama Senho. Sila Mama Senho. Ano? Wi-Fi ko to ginagamit ko. Kasi nagpuputol-putol dun sa school. Okay, so guys, continue tayo. So yun, nakita nyo na kung saan tayo nakalocate, okay, sa earthquake belt. Okay, and then maraming fault lines surrounding us. Now, another what do you call risk sa atin is that we are located in an area kung saan sobrang maraming hazards. Okay, ibig sabihin nasa geological hazards tayo wherein there are a lot of earthquakes, volcanoes or volcanic eruptions, floods, landslide, tidal waves, surge or storm surge, and drought. Okay, so sobrang high risk talaga ang lugar natin. Okay, and then another thing is the man-made disaster na pwede rin masabi natin dahil sobrang daming umapekto. One is the ozone disco. Naalala nyo pa to noon na yung mga uso-uso pa yung disco noon, tapos nasunog yung disco, tapos walang exit, isang door lang talaga ang meron yung disco. So nag-stampede yung mga tao, tapos what do you call this? Yung iba hindi nakalabas, nasunog na sa loob. So, sobra talaga. Meron tayong mga survivor ngayon ng ozone disco na talagang disfigured na yung mukha, pero buhay sila. Diba? So, sila yun. Tingnan nyo sa YouTube, hanapin nyo ozone disco disaster or ozone disco fire. So, may mga survivors dyan. Makita nyo kung paano sila nakasurvive or may mga kwento sila sa buhay nila about that. And then we also have the 2013 Iloilo oil spill. Ito yung oil spill sa dagat. So, apektado ang mga isda natin and things like that. So, ang dami-dami talaga. And then we also have the Ultra Stampede or Philippine Sports Stadium Stampede. Yung program yata ni Willie Revillame. So, ang daming tao. Alam niyo naman si Willie Revillame, nagbibigay ng pera lagi. So, ang dami talagang taong pumupunta sa kanya. So, ayan. Nag-stampede talaga sa sobrang daming tao. Yung 'di ba, yung tawag niyan, yung sa mga upuan nila, siguro sobrang daming tao, ayun, bumaksak. So meron yan namatay diyan, pero hindi naman marami, siguro 1 or 2. Ano yun, ma'am?
Hindi po na lang daw.
I-ask mo si Ma'am Bana at si Ma'am Asenjo kasi sila ang assign dyan kung matuloy. Pero ang pagkaalam ko, ma'am, ngayon pupunta sila, ayusin nila yung mga ano nila.
Yung final kasi
Yung schedule na depende sa panel. Depende talaga sa panel. Oo, basta today, bukas, Senho. Okay? Then we also have Mark Copper mining disaster. Ito yung I think sa Cebu na yung mga copper, mga mining people nandoon sa loob, tapos nagkaroon ng landslide. And buti na lang walang casualty kasi na-discover nila yan. Kasi ang pagka-landslide kasi, once nangyayari yan, unti-unti parang mapansin mo may nahuhulog na bato-bato. Pag ganun pa lang, kailangan tumakbo na kaagad, labas na kaagad. Okay? Kasi kung hindi, talagang pag landslide yan, maano ka talaga, malilibing ka talaga sa lupa. Hindi ka talaga makaalis, okay? Kasi ang bilis niyan. So, meron din na-cover sa loob, pero I'm not so sure kung ilan, pero considered siya as disaster dito sa atin, okay? So, once considered as disaster, ibig sabihin maraming casualty nangyari. And then, transportation disasters, ito yung mga, like for example, may nahulog na bus, lalo na bus, or wala pa naman nangyayari, yung mga airplane na na-crash, wala pa naman. Meron namang airplane, yung mga Cessna airplane lang, yung mga maliliit, pero yung maramihan, wala namang sinabi, okay? And then also arson, ito mga sunog, ang dami natin ditong sunog. Okay? Kasi usually talaga ang sunog nangyayari doon sa mga slum area, sa mga dikit-dikit na bahay, sometimes kasi wala silang kuryente, kandila ang ginagamit o yung lampara. So sometimes naiwan, yung gano'n, o lalo na yung kandila. So hanggang sa lumaki na mga ganyan. So meron naman mga causes is about yung sa gas, na sumabog, yung mga gano'n. Okay? So kailangan talaga ang gas, ingat sa mga bahay. Isa din yan sa mga risk na dapat nyo in-identify sa loob ng bahay nyo. And then another kind of disaster that our country is at risk is the internal disputes. Okay, ito yung mga Abu Sayyaf, mga military and Abu Sayyaf, yung mga NPA, yung mga ganon. Kasi hindi sila nagkakaintindihan. Siyempre, yung military, pinoprotect. Tapos yung all na itong government, siyempre, hindi sila same way as yung mga NPA. Ganon din. Meron silang goal, meron silang nakikita na hindi maganda sa gobyerno, something like that. And it is a form of protest. Pero parang naging na sila yung government kasi kino-consider sila as extremist or yung kontra sa gobyerno, kaya hindi din sila magtugma. So all these dispute intindihan. Okay? So that also causes disaster. Bakit? Kasi although hindi man apektado hindi apektado, hindi man ang goal nila to involve the civilians, pero hindi maiwasan nag i-involve talaga ang civilian. Kasi kung ang gera is in between ganyan, so ikaw ang nasa gitna, so apektado ka rin talaga. Lalo na yung livelihood yung livelihood mo, yung bahay mo, syempre kailangan ka lumikas, pupunta ka sa ibang lugar. So disaster din yan sa ibang lugar kasi kung ang economy nila ng barangay na yan is enough para sa barangay, tapos nandun ang mga evacuees, so kailangan nila ng additional budget para dyan. So yung mga ganun bagay. Okay? So ayan. So this time, ano ba ang mga planning na dapat natin gawin to reduce the risk? So we have the Hyogo framework, which was developed since I think somewhere in 1922. I cannot remember this na. Okay, it is an organization of different countries, kasama ang United States and Asia, and other countries na yung mas vulnerable sa mga nakita nyo naman sa mapa kanina sa video, sino yung mga vulnerable sa mga disaster. So meron silang sinabing objectives, ito plan natin to para ma-reduce natin ang mga risk na yan. Okay, that is what we call the Hyogo Framework of Action or the HFA. So in the Hyogo, meron tayong 1 to 6 I think, or 1 to 5. So in the Hyogo, ito yung mga actions na dapat gawin. Okay? Make disaster risk reduction a priority. Ito yung action number 1 nila. And then, so ensure that disaster risk reduction is a national and local priority. So may program naman si NDRRMC to that, so that the disaster program, risk reduction program is known to every level up to the barangay level. Okay? Know the risk and take action. So in here, you are a part of the NDRRMC, you have to know the risk and take action. So ano ang example na nalaman nila yung risk? Like for example, si Leyte. Diba talagang ang area nila, yung lugar nila sa mapa, talagang in front sila ng Pacific Ocean. So they are at risk of tsunami. So in that, anong action na na-take nila? So they or the students are trained on how to respond to the possible incoming tsunami. So nagdi-drill sila para hindi masyado apektado. So you will learn that, makikita niyo yan later. And then build understanding and awareness. So ito naman mga katakot-takot na mga health teachings or mga seminars, mga ganon sa mga barangay, sa mga community, to be aware about the incoming risk. Okay? And then reduce risk. To reduce the risk is to identify what are the factors that causes the risk. Okay? So kung for example, tsunami, it's a natural disaster, di ba? So ano ang gagawin natin to reduce the risk? So take action, train the people and train the students, disseminate all information to every individual in the community. Okay? So yan yung pinaka-action natin to reduce the risk. And then be prepared and ready to act. So in here, kapag sinabing be prepared and ready to act, you have to strengthen the preparedness program para maging effective yan at all levels. Okay? So next, wait lang, reply ko lang to. Good morning. Ma'am. Opo. Tuluyan. Nag-reprogram lang kasi hindi in-approve. Pero yung Miller, kailangan talaga natin yun. Oo, go yun. Oo. Okay, thank you. Ma'am, pakisabi kay Ma'am Kobe, nandito na yung foreign request ni Donasco. Pakuha na lang kasi may klase ako, ma'am. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, so dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, meron talaga siyang batas, and that is the Republic Act N121, okay, or or Disaster Risk Reduction Management Act. So ito yung mga ways on how to prevent the disaster impact sa atin. Ma'am, paano na lang yung date ng completion and date of start tsaka yung register? Yun na lang ang kulang. Sige. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, one is to conduct risk assessment in various areas in the country, develop and establish several early warning system, which is some is already identified, some is being done by the Pag-asa, di ba yung Pag-asa advance mag-isip, advance sila mag-announce. Development of tools on risk assessment, so it depends on what kind of risk, which area ay dapat meron na tayong mga tools. So, yung ginamit nyo sa risk assessment, yun yung isa sa mga tool na na-develop para i-identify kung ano ang mga risk. Okay? Increasing involvement of communities and local government. Yes, ano yan sila? What do you call this? Coordinated sila sa isa't isa. Okay? Government agencies, lahat yan. When it comes to disaster, coordinated yan sila sa mga program nila. Okay? Then the development of disaster risk reduction management mainstreaming tools into the national and sub-national planning system. Meron yan, kaya nga up to the barangay level, meron tayong mga training, ginagawa sa mga tanod and things like that. National, institutional, and legal frameworks, it was already done and known to everybody, but of course, kung ako layman lang, na hindi ako involved sa disaster lecture, hindi ko alam yung framework. So ngayon, at least alam ko at isasabi ko na sa inyo yung framework ng Pilipinas. So later makukuha natin yan, okay? And then presence of functional multi-sectoral factors, nandun yon sa framework, and resource allocation. Sino ang assign dito when it comes to disaster preparedness, response, and recovery? So meron tayong mga agencies assigned dyan. Okay? Now, another one to reduce the risk or the impact of the disaster is to develop policies and procedures and guidelines. Okay? And then provide a framework of action. Okay? The policies and procedures should cover all elements of the disaster plan because it helps us or it helps the leaders to make a sound decision. Okay? Para ano dapat ang gagawin sa area na yan o kaya sa vulnerable people na yan and things like that. Ano yun?
Conclusion conduct po yung kailangan po para po sa grade sa person research.
Kumuha kayo sa sa register.
Kasi ng register.
Completion form kasi tapos na kayo mag-final defense. Okay?
Pero saan na po mag-limang magi po yung grade sa inyo?
Ay, hindi ko pa nabuksan. Mamaya follow up ko. May klase pa ako. Okay?
Kasi po lahat po daw, INC daw na po kasi yung consider na ganun lang. Kailangan confusion po. Pag-black pa daw po yung
Okay, sige. Mamaya, pagkatapos ng may 9 o'clock, mag-break lang ako 5 minutes. May klase ulit ako. So, check ko si Ma'am Maggie, ha? Okay.
Pero po pala po kami na confusion form.
Oo. Sinabi na ba ng advisor nyo? Sino advisor nyo?
Hindi po si advisor namin nagsabi, si Mang Bala.
O, di kumuha na kayo. Kumuha na kayo. Sabihin mo, completion for research yon. Okay? Yung thesis nyo. Okay. Sige. Okay, so let's move on. Yung sinasabi natin na disaster risk reduction management framework. Ito yung framework na ginawa ng NDRRMC to let everybody know ano ang plan nila at sino-sino ang nasasakupan at paano ba natin gagawin. Kasi ang goal nila is to achieve resilience to all constituents. Okay? Ibig sabihin yung mga members ng community. So ito yung framework natin. Okay? This is the disaster continuum. Ito yung alam natin na ito yung disaster na mangyayari. So, meron tayong prevention and mitigation, preparedness, response, and rehabilitation. Ibig sabihin, meron na plano dyan. Nakasulat na, may policies and procedure na and things like that. And then, you conduct assessment to identify kung sino talaga or ano talaga ang posibleng mga disaster na pwede mangyari sa atin. It is in a spiral motion or in a spiral drawing kasi it should be continuous. Okay, continuous talaga yan. So once assessment, do the planning, and then take action, ganun-ganun. Hanggang sa maging seamless part na ito ng mga tao kasi ang goal nila is safer, adaptive, and disaster resilient Filipino communities toward sustainable development. Ito ang goal ng Pilipinas. So, sa ngayon parang hindi ko naman alam yan. Siyempre, kayo, sabi niyo, first time ko narinig yan, wala naman akong nakita na ganyan, okay? So, ibig sabihin, once meron nag-a-assess na ganun pala, marami pa sa mga constituent ang hindi alam ang program, so, take action pa din sila kasi risk din yun eh. Wala pa lang alam ang mga namamayan eh. Tapos ito ang ganda ng program natin. Paano na lang pag dumating ang disaster, marami na naman talagang casualty ang mangyari. Okay? So, ganun yon. So, meron talaga dapat nag-i-evaluate sa ginagawa nila. Pero, because of this framework of plan, meron talaga yung tiga-evaluate. Hindi lang siguro umaabot talaga hanggang sa atin. Okay? But ngayon, dahil kayo, nag-aaral na kayo ng disaster nursing, so alam niyo na. Okay? So, the RA or Republic Act 10121 is a comprehensive, all-hazard, multi-sectoral, interagency, community-based approach palang ma-manage yung risk para ma-decrease ang disaster impact. Okay? So, ayan. Yung framework na sinasabi dito, yun na yun. Ito yun. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, continuous action hanggang maging safe tayo. Hopefully. Okay, now let's talk about disaster emergency preparedness. Okay, pag preparedness, ibig sabihin is, okay, defined as knowledge, capabilities, and actions of governments, organization, community groups, and individual. Okay? Kasi, ibig sabihin, prepared tayo. Alam natin anong mangyayari. So, ito ang dapat natin action. So, makaka-anticipate natin kung ano ang pwedeng mangyari. Pwedeng magiging action natin. Okay? Para lang maiwas yung mga risk na yan or disaster na yan. Okay? So, preparedness effort ranges from yourself mismo, okay? Individual level, dapat alam mo yun. Dapat meron kang first aid training. Kaya nakita nyo, part ng disaster natin is part yan dito. Okay? And then household action, di ba, pina-assignment kayo kung ano ang risk. So, dapat alam nyo na kung anong pwedeng i-take action doon. Okay? And then another thing is, when it comes to natural disaster, ano ang household action dapat gawin? Di ba, dapat magbaon tayo. Meron na tayong, lalo na yung mga vulnerable areas, like yung laging natatamaan ng bagyo, natatamaan ng flood, dapat meron na silang mga equipment and supplies na pwedeng mabilisang bitbitin para makalikas. And then community effort, yung mga community members should be aware kung ano-ano ang mga dapat gawin. So, meron silang mga training or mga lecture. Yung COPAR nyo, pwede nyo i-integrate yun about sa disaster training nyo. Okay? Kaya nga, minsan, COPAR nyo, meron mga CPR and things like that. Tinuturo yun, kinakascade yan doon. Okay? And then, what are the government agency strategies? We have early warning system, yes, meron tayo contingency plan. Okay, anong mangyayari kag buong barangay ang apektado, saan sila lilipat? So meron na tayong contingency. Lilipat sila dito sa sa ito kasi malaking barangay to at malaki ang budget nito. So dito sila pupunta, mag-evacuate. Yung mga ganon, meron na tayong contingency plan. Evacuation rules, okay? Now, when it comes to disaster, depende kung ano yan or saan, like, for example, building. So, kung building yan, saan ba dadaan ng mga tao para makalikas? Okay? Yan yung mga evacuation rules. And public informed government program na yung Mr. Continuum. Ibig sabihin, sa mitigation phase, sa preparedness phase, sa impact, sa recovery, sa response and recovery, nandyan si media dahil may role sila. So they are the ones disseminating the information to the public. Okay. Now, these are the different government agencies ng, what do you call this, ng Pilipinas that responds to the disaster respond to disaster event. And part sila ng framework natin. So the AFP, BFP, DNRMD, NTC, alam niyo ba mga meaning nito? Armed Forces of the Philippines, Bureau of Fire Protection, Department of Environment and Natural Resources, MMDA, anong meaning yan? NTC, National Chuchu Communication, and then we have the NDRRMC, government level, si Pag-asa, hindi ko maalala si PICO, PNRC, PhilBox, yung mga nag-assess sa mga intensity ng mga earthquake natin. And these four, take note of these four, they are the ones responsible sa mga disaster continuum. Itong mga na-identify dito, sa response ito ha, sa response. Itong these four, pero meron din dito yata sa mga planning, part din sila, pero mas marami sa kanila is sa response. Now, itong apat is responsible each continuum. Okay, like the DOST. Department of Science and Technology, they are the ones responsible doon sa preparedness and mitigation. Okay? Si Department of Internal Local Government, sa preparedness ito. Okay? Sa preparedness mismo. Si DSWD, Social Welfare Development, responsible sila sa disaster response. Okay? And si NEDA, ano ibig sabihin ng NEDA? Responsible sila sa recovery phase. Okay? But they are working interchangeably, nagtulong-tulong, co-coordinate sila sa isa't isa para sa tawag dito, sa pag-plan, sa pag-respond, sa pagtulong sa ano ang gagawin sa mga casualty and of course sa housing, kung nawala sila ng housing. Okay? Sila ang nagpaplano kung saan ilalagay yung mga tao. Okay? And aside from this, together with the newly established Commercial and Amateur Radio Transceivers and Dealers Association of the Philippines, or the CART-DAPI. Okay? CART-DAPI, yung mga, ano yun, yung mga, ano, yung ginagamit natin sa communication ng mga satellite, chuchu. Okay, di ba na-discuss natin yan last time? Kasama yan sila. Okay, so meron tayong sinabi natin na yung tawag nito, yung mga disasters natin, na-cascade yan hanggang sa barangay level. Okay? Now, ano ba ang mga role nila? Ano ang ginagawa nila? Okay, now this one, the LDRRMC, or the Local Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council, is primarily tasked to take lead, okay, in preparing for response and recovery. Okay, ito ang mga criteria nila. The Barangay Disaster Council, if the barangay is affected. Okay, so ibig sabihin, isang barangay lang, maliit na barangay, sila lang ang pwede, sila lang ang magre-respond. Kapag dalawang barangay yan or more, it is or it should be the city, municipal, DRRMC. Okay? Kapag naman buong probinsya ang affected, that will be the provincial DRRMC. Kapag regional, like Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, sa Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, meron tayong Region 1, Region 2, up to Region 14. Kapag regional, okay, si regional DRRMC. And of course, yung national or the NDRRMC. Kapag buong country natin is affected. So yun yung mga role nila. This is what we call itong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what we call the local DRRMC. Okay? So sila yung mga magre-respond sa mga disaster. Okay? So ano ang role ng mga hospitals at ng mga kapag may mga casualties, so ang dami dumapo sa ER, ano ang gagawin ng hospital? Kapag dalawa lang ang nurse sa ER, isang doktor, patay tayo dyan. Okay? Usually talaga, ang pinaka-goal nila is, i-respond nila, provide medical care to victims. Okay? But they will be in disaster kapag hindi nila makayanan ang surge of patients coming into the ER. So, meron tayong mga policy dyan. Ano ang dapat gawin? Okay? So, meron sila, not only the US, but even in the Philippines, we have established and maintained a nationwide network, a voluntary pre-committed non-federal acute care hospital beds. Dito sa atin, meron tayong mga naka-assign. Like for example, kapag gobyerno, ang assign dyan si Jose Reyes, they can accept loads of patients when it comes disaster. Meron tayong I think San Andres, tapos meron one government hospital in Quezon City and one in Las Piñas. Okay? So meron na identify ang mga gobyerno. Now, kasi kapag ilagay natin sila sa sa mga private hospitals, patay tayo dyan. Baka ubos na ang dugo, hindi pa sila naaalagaan. Alam niyo naman ang private hospital. Pero kapag sa government yan, kaagad aksyonan yan. Depende lang talaga dahil sa mga ibang mga government hospital ay walang gamit. Okay? Okay, so during emergency, ang mga role ng mga hospitals is to provide emergency care. That is the reason why most of the hospitals, some of the hospitals here in the Philippines, meron silang trauma unit or trauma ER. Doon dinediretso ang mga pasyente, lalo na yung mga malaki ang epekto sa malaki ang impact o malaki ang injury or mga grabe, okay? So ano ibig sabihin ng trauma? Trauma care or trauma ER. So in a trauma setting, yung ER mismo, okay, meron na siyang trauma room. Ano yung trauma room? Ang setup, ang picture out ko na lang kayo kasi wala naman tayong dito. Yung setup niyan is parang mini OR. Kasi remember you are trying to save life. Okay? And time is very important. So dito, hindi mo na kailangan magpunta sa x-ray, pa-x-ray muna, punta sa sa OR kasi kailangan na dyan at dyan mismo sa bed na yan, kasama na meron portable x-ray, meron mga blood extraction, adjacent lang sila sa sa laboratory. So sobrang sulit yung oras habang nandyan si patient. Now, comparing to other trauma hospitals, kaya nga hindi lahat ng hospital considered as trauma because their structure is not ergonomically structured to respond to a trauma victim. Okay? But most of the government hospitals, meron sila capacity to respond to trauma victim because of their ergonomically structured emergency room. Okay? Ayun. And then another thing is collecting and analyzing data on illness to detect and prevent potential outbreaks. Now, ito na yung usually nangyayari. Ano ba yung sakit na yun last time na na-originate sa Baguio? Pneumococcal something? Napansin nila sa isang hospital, meron silang ilang incident. Tapos sa another hospital, meron. So, ito kasing mga communicable diseases, nire-report to sa DOH. Responsibilidad yan ng mga hospital na mag-report. Okay? So once napansin sila kakaiba, and sabi nila, uy, nakadalawang reported na dapat yan. So itong si DOH naman, magko-conduct na yan ng epidemiological studies. And then after that, they will announce na meron tayong outbreak, ganito, kailangan, ito, mga precaution. Okay? So last time nga, the people were asked, lalo na yung malapit sa area ng nagkaroon ng infection na yon, they were asked to take ciprofloxacin for as preventive measures. Okay? And then another thing, deliver healthcare before and after an emergency conditions. Okay? So ito, then for the management of chronic disease, maternal and child services and psychosocial, meron na din silang plan dyan on how to manage. Okay, another thing, para ma-prevent para ma-mitigate ang impact ng disaster, like for example, itong dating COVID natin, di ba? Meron na tayong program on how to provide immunization. So even yung mga dating mga naging pandemic natin, yung flu, di ba? Meron na tayong flu vaccine, meron ng pneumococcal vaccine, meron ng COVID vaccine and things like that. So at least ma-mitigate na yan. And then providing critical services including laboratories, blood banks, ambulance, rehabilitation, aged care, and pharmacy. So meron naman kompleto ang Pilipinas. Okay. So ano-ano yung mga preparedness measures dapat? So ano-ano yung mga preparedness measures dapat ang gagawin sa atin? Okay? So usually the preparedness plan is derived from the origin sa National DRRMC. Okay? Ito ay to reduce loss of life and livelihood and even yung mga properties. Okay? And then, paano din tayo mag-respond sa mga disaster na yan, like for example, man-made or natural disasters. So the measures is being undertaken by the following: si government, different organizations of the government, like we have discussed earlier, mga DSWD, mga NEDA, mga ganon, and of course, communities and individual. Okay, so ano ang government measures para ma-prepared, ma-implement yung disaster preparedness measures? The NDRRMC has a program to conduct various research work. So, nire-research nila. Kagaya ng sinabi ko sa inyo kanina, na sinabi nila na kailangan natin magkaroon ng safe and resilient individuals, okay, sa country natin for long-term sustainability and things like that. So, kailangan magre-research yan sila. Sino ba sa mga lugar dito sa Pilipinas ang highly vulnerable at ano ang dapat nating gawin, at binibigyan nila yan ng ng mga teachings, mga seminars and things like that on paano gagawin. And then conduct a multi-stakeholder dialogues. Ito yung mga leaders na magpaplano. Okay? In your disaster RLE, you will learn on how to do this kasi you will learn on how to discuss about tabletop exercise. Ito yung ginagamit nila. Mag-dialogue sila, and that is through tabletop exercise. And then, develop capacity building activities. Ito na yung mga drill na ginagawa natin. Develop and regular review of contingency plan. Tingnan yung contingency plan. Effective pa kaya yan? Ay, kasi nawala na yung bridge dyan. So, hindi na sila makapunta. So, yung mga ganun bagay, di ba? So, kailangan talaga i-review. Development of information, education, and communication materials. Yung mga teachings na binibigay, mga seminars na binibigay natin sa kanila, and development of information and database generation. This is being done already, and alam niyo naman si NDRRMC, minsan dumadating na lang sa ano natin, sa mga cellphone natin na earthquake alert, ganun. O kaya typhoon alert, meron na tayo niyan. Inclusion of DRC in schools curricula, ayan, meron na tayo. Meron tayong disaster nursing, di ba? And existence of procedures on disaster communication, paano mag-communicate, di ba? During our first meeting, we discuss about how to communicate. Okay? And that is our topic. Let's move on to the next topic. Okay, so disaster. Ay, sorry. Stop tayo para punta tayo sa next slide. Kunin ko lang yung next slide, ha?
Good morning.
Saturday po. Hindi, humingi sila sa atin ng kung pwede ba daw sila mag-meeting para i-propose na tayong program. Wala pang binibigay schedule, pero ikaw, kung kailan mo gusto, kasama ka dyan. Oo. Galing yan kay ano, sino ba yan ma? Yung Trojan, sino ba yan? Hindi ko kilala. Same opposite. Pero galing yan sa ano, tingnan niyo dyan sa address. Diba kay The Corpus, tapos through, yun. Oo. Sino yan? O baka sa Manila yan? Eh, The Corpus nga yan eh. Oo nga. Oo nga. Sa nursing. Sige po. Sige nga. Thank you. Okay guys. So, okay, break muna tayo. Tapos, discuss natin ito. And then, move on tayo sa RLE. Okay? So, break muna guys. Guys, break muna kayo.